It's Charter Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance in Signal Hill, surrounded by Long Beach. Glad you're here with us today. We are joined by Richard Ramos. He is the CEO and president of the Latino Coalition for Community Leadership, whose purpose is what?
Our purpose, Brad, is to help nonprofits. There's so many nonprofits that are out around the country that are doing great work, but they're kind of off the radar screen of big funders. So our purpose is to find them, fund them, build them, and feature them.
So let's back up. From where do you get your funding?
Most of our funding comes from the federal government, Department of Labor, Department of Justice, because many of the nonprofits we serve are serving people that are struggling to get their life back together.
Sure.
Some of them are coming out of jail and prison, and those needs need to be met. So the Department of Labor and Justice providing a lot of funding to help those families.
So you re-grant some of the money on which you received the grant.
That's right. We're an intermediary organization, so we put out our own RFP or request for proposal process. Organizations apply to us and compete for the funds, and then we re-grant the money that we receive.
So tell us again, who are the nonprofits serving, generally speaking?
Generally speaking, they're serving a very hard-to-reach demographic. Many of the young people from 18 on up that are either dropping out of school, having problems with drug addiction or alcohol abuse, have been in jail, incarcerated, or on probation or parole. Those people are kind of forgotten about sometimes. But there's a lot of organizations that are helping them reconnect with their family, reconnect with the community, help them getting jobs, things like that.
Let's talk about the Latino community, because it's undeniable it's a community that's growing, that's making tremendous strides. If we think about here in our great state of California, Latinos are now a plurality of our state, more than folks of Anglo descent. But I do think it's fair to say that the Latino community is still looking to attain even more greatness.
That's right.
Talk to us about how you hope to turn the Latinos' power and strength and abilities.
Yeah, I think it all starts in the home, Brad. That's why I wrote a curriculum called Parents on a Mission.
Yes, tell us about it.
And that program is designed to empower parents because, you know, for so many years we create youth programs that we say we need more jobs, we need more parks, more pools, more playground, more police on the street, more laws. It's not working. What happened to mom and dad?
Well, let's talk about mom, because I have the good fortune of being surrounded by a lot of strong women, including Latinas. And I know you don't mess with the mujeres. And
That's
so I want to
correct.
get a sense of the mujeres, which is like the moms, the misses.
Right.
Give me a sense of them, not to take away from the fathers, and we'll talk about the fathers in a
Right.
second. But you know, Latina moms, I mean, boy, are they phenomenal.
They are. I was raised by a single mother.
Right, a Latina?
A Latina mom, and my father was an alcoholic. Unfortunately, I'm the youngest of 5, so my mother was there, and we were raised on welfare. But nevertheless, she was a strong disciplinarian, involved in our life, and that same mother exists today.
Right, but give me, for those of us that don't have the good fortune to know these strong mujeres, these Latinas, tell me who they are. What are they like? Because I know them, and I think everyone should have a mujeres in their life.
Well, they're women of character.
Right.
They're women of affection, women of nurture, but also strong enough to stand on their own 2 feet.
Oh yeah, you don't mess with them.
And the
I can tell by the smile.
Yeah.
You know, we know what we're talking about.
If the men won't lead,
Oh, forget it.
they'll lead.
Yeah, they'll take over.
They will take the lead.
But let's talk about the men. Because obviously, in a perfect world, and I am not taking anything away from families that may not have a traditional setup.
Right.
It's nice to have, 2 parents. Again, I don't want to get into a debate, but you know what I'm getting at. Talk to us about Latino men, their role, and what happens in their absence.
Yeah, well, what happens in their absence, unfortunately, is a lot of what we're looking at today. Most of the statistics tell us that a lot of people that are in jail and prison did not have a good home life, and the father was absent. But aside from that, the negative side of it, the good side of it is when a father understands his role as a leader, provider, but also is involved in the kids' lives and plays a part not only of the disciplinarian, but a nurturer. It has a powerful impact.
Do you feel as if the Latino community in America, are they receiving, is there a premium placed on fatherhood? Because there's no question there's a premium placed on motherhood. I can feel it.
Yeah, there's beginning to be. I think there's more of a movement. There's a whole fatherhood coalition movement where they're trying more and more to get that message and understand that the father's role is very important.
So tell me more about your Parents on a Mission. I mean, are your curricula, are they one for the moms, one for the dads, or?
No, it's for parents, grandparents, step-parents, blended families, I mean parents, whoever they might be.
In whatever role they
And
have.
them understanding that they are the number one asset in the community. They shouldn't be abdicating their authority. They need to understand why they need to continue to grow so they can help their children grow, the importance of restoring authority and respect for that authority and things like that.
One thing that I think is particularly admirable about the Latino Family Unit is its generational look and feel. I mean, the abuelas are always there.
Right.
And so what role do they play? The grandmother and and the grandfathers. I mean, they're both. Their grandparents are there.
Right.
I wish a lot of cultures had so many generations involved.
Well, they bring that respect and the heritage and the loyalty to family because they have something to offer, the history, who we are, where we come from, and that's why a lot of kids go astray. If they don't feel like they belong to something, they give their loyalty away to gangs, give their loyalty away to other things.
But what's stunning to me about, and again, I'm making generalizations, but about the Latino family structure is how often the grandparents play a pivotal role, whether there are parents involved or not. I mean, they really, that's what I see. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong.
No, there's a lot of grandparents that are raising, unfortunately, their kids' kids.
But even when there are parents involved, it just seems, again, this is my perception, I don't know if it's accurate generally, but grandparents play a special role in the Latino family unit.
That's very true. That's very true.
And why is that special?
Well, because, again, it ties us to who we are.
Right. Let's talk about your book. I'm very impressed, sir, if I may say. You have a book that's called From the Margins to the Mainstream, Preparing Latino Youth for Leadership in the 21st Century.
Yes.
I mean, look, here in California, I think we're doing pretty darn well with leadership. Again, this is just one element of our society, but in the California State Legislature, we have a Latino who is the Speaker of the Assembly. We have a Latino who is head of the state Senate. We have a Latino who's Secretary of State. We have multiple Latinos and Latinas in government. So we're making strides.
We're making strides, but as I have the opportunity to travel the country, and as we look around the country, we're still very underrepresented in, for example, Fortune 500 companies,
that's undeniable.
And boards and places of teachers, superintendents of schools, positions of authority. We are making strides, and you can see it more, of course, in a place like California and the Southwest region of the United States. But when you start branching out and you see all the Latinos that are growing throughout the country, not necessarily, though, in those positions of authority and responsibility and leadership.
Do you anticipate, without taking a political position, that this year's presidential race will awaken the Latino spirit and bring Latinos more into the public conversation?
It better. It better. Because we need to wake up and see what's going on and understand that we need to have a voice.
But we've heard that before. We've heard Latinos need to have a voice, but Latinos have not been participating. I'm talking about the electoral process.
That's correct.
And I'm just talking in terms of numbers. I'm not talking about specific people.
Right.
And so do you believe this is the year where we've awoken the sleeping giant, either in favor of the Democratic nominee or in opposition to the Republican nominee, or switch? Who knows?
Yeah. I'm not sure, Brad, to be honest. That's the reason I wrote the book.
Right.
Because I believe that our voting record is horrible. And what does it take to get Latinos to vote? You know, I'm not sure, but my purpose in writing that book was to inspire leadership. And being a leader, you're going to vote.
He is Richard Ramos. He is the CEO and president of Latino Coalition for Community Leadership. My name is Brad Pomerance. This is Charter Local Edition.